You see, every single day that I'm out here in this matrix, that I wake up, I'm thinking about and crafting my ideal self sent to me from my higher self. I wake up and I think of my ideal self. I have so many goals that I want myself to accomplish, that I want to do and fulfill in life. I have a vision for my ideal self, my life, my dash. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be. At times, I get overwhelmed, caught in my head, and I become so impatient and angry at myself. I truly feel that sometimes I'm falling behind. I feel at times that the clock is winding down, tick-tock on the clock. It truly is a struggle to stay positive and motivated. Sometimes I gotta remember the fourth quarter. Like most people though, I wanna throw in the towel and give up. Sometimes it just feels like there's no use. There's too much going against me. There's too much ground for me to cover. I need to cover it though, so that I can get to my ideal self. I need to constantly remind myself over and over again that I am not yet where I want to be, but I still believe, and I know that one day I will get there. I am not where I want to be, but I am so grateful. I am not where I used to be. Can I get a hello? I am talking to everyone out there who is just about to give up, who is just about to lose all hope. I am here right now as the voice into tomorrow to cheer you on, to let you know that you, my friend, are gonna get there. You are gonna get that promotion. You are gonna complete that marathon, because you're no longer running a sprint, and you're gonna run for your life, for your ideal self. So whatever you're working towards, you are gonna get there. Can I get a hello? But you gotta get crystal clear with yourself about what it is you want, about what it is you're seeking in life, what it is you truly want. You must know deep down inside, you gotta know that you're gonna get there. But most importantly, you better know you're gonna fall, but you gotta get right back up. Most importantly, you gotta know you gotta work like hell, blood, sweat, and tears. You're gonna put in the work to keep moving. You're gonna make the ground shake beneath you. Don't let nothing stand in your way and stop you. I am begging you, when the rest of the world is shutting you down, you have to be the one to stand up and shout out and stand tall, working hard, digging deep, going after your ideal self, because nothing is gonna stop you. If nothing made you, well, it can't break you. Only your mom can break you, because she the only one that made you. You see, what I'm saying is, nothing can stop you. If they didn't make you, they can't break you. You're the sun, shining during the day, and the moon shining at night. And I promise your will, your dedication, your motivation is all about doing the work in the business. Because that's what it was about. That's what it's all about. Being about the business and being about the life. What are you about? You see, I need to constantly remind myself I'm not yet where I want to be. But I know that one day I'm gonna get there. I'm not where I want to be, but I am grateful for how far I've already came. So grateful that I'm not where I used to be. Can I get a hello? Sending you all much love and high vibrations, because I keep thinking to myself that I'm never gonna get where I need to be, that I'm never gonna be good enough, that it doesn't matter what I do, that I can't do enough. Sometimes I think that I'm not good enough, but I remember how many battles I've already won, how much I've already overcome, how much I've already achieved. Sometimes, pioneers, I feel like I'm undeserving because I haven't pushed myself enough. I look back though at the moments of regret in my past that I have lingering in my mind today, where I'm wishing I had made the different decisions in my life. If only I had pushed myself just a little bit more, went a little bit farther, did a little bit better, just an inch, just a fraction of an inch was all I needed to give to have a different outcome today. But that's not the cards I was dealt. I know, pioneers, that there are going to be moments in your life where you've experienced these same things too, where you didn't rise up to the challenge when it called for you. Maybe you didn't rise up to the challenge because you were afraid of it. But you could have given a little bit more, but you weren't prepared to give effort because you didn't know what true effort was. Well, this is the time to recognize what is necessary to get the job done. And I know that may be difficult for some people to understand and to admit their flaws and their shortcomings and to admit that they're just not there yet. They don't have it all figured out. They're not where they want to be. Because according to some people's social medias, they've got it all. But you got to remind yourself that you may not be where you want to be right now, today, but look at how far you've already came. Look at all you've achieved and all you've overcome. With all the circumstances and trials and tribulations that you've been through in your life, you've overcame everything that's already knocked you down, because you're listening, aren't you? You're here today on this small Facebook channel. This Rumble channel, True Social, wherever we share. Look at how far you've come, pioneers. How much you've achieved and how many battles you've won just to get here today. Look at everything. Pat yourself on the back, because when you thought you were out, down, and struggling, your willpower, your fate, your faith, your belief, whatever it was, got you to where you needed to be right now, today. Because as long as you're living, there's always going to be some kind of a struggle, a battle, trials and tribulations, a conflict that we have to overcome and be prepared for. Like this recent dip in the cryptocurrency market. This is not nothing new under the sun. This is a moment for pioneers to accumulate. This moment is the greatest opportunity in history. This is our life. As much as any other opportunity in history, we're going to spend it in a way that will make our future selves proud. No matter how far you fall down or fall back, ladies and gentlemen, pioneers, keep pushing forward. Keep climbing up. Keep doing the work. Do the work. It's the fourth quarter. Keep pushing, keep hustling, keep grinding. You may feel the same way right now because your investments are down and you've lost everything. You only lose when you sell. Stack on top of that shortcoming. You may feel like you may not be where you want to be right now. Emotionally, physically, mentally, financially. And you may be wondering if you're ever gonna get there. Most people, they slip up. It's nothing new. When people are trying to make a change and challenge themselves, it's a natural part of life that they slip up. We're all gonna make mistakes. We are all gonna slip up from time to time, but you don't stop moving forward. Now that you found yourself at the base of another mountain, look upon the valley. Find a way to climb the next mountain you approach. Because you're not where you want to be, but I know in your heart, you're gonna be. I know in my soul, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get to where you want to be. It just takes patience, due diligence, hard work, and dedication. I'm not where I want to be, and I'm the coach. But I know I'm gonna get there. And maybe I gotta deal with leading the blind and having a plank in my own eye. But I'll pay for my sins. Cause I'm gonna keep on pushing, keep on grinding, keep on hustling. It's the fourth quarter. You lay your own obstacles, now hurdle over them. You've been through heartaches and pain, blood, sweat, and tears. And sometimes those disappointing moments, they come back to haunt us with doubts and fear seeping into our mindset. But just know this moment right here, right now, is our life, the greatest opportunity in history. Because if nobody else gives us this opportunity, we're gonna take it for ourselves. And if nobody else forgives us for our mistakes, we're gonna hold ourselves up. If somebody else says no, we're gonna say yes. I dare you say I can't. Hold yourself accountable. No matter what happens, you're still gonna fall back and fall down. And no matter what happens, everything, every reward or every shortcoming is gonna fall on you. So you can either sit there in sorrow, or you can reward yourself and keep on moving. No matter how far off track you may fall, give back 100% to your future self. Keep grinding, keep hustling. It's the fourth quarter. So what, we slipped up. So what, we lost. It doesn't mean we stop. Do we give up? Fuck no. We keep going. We keep hustling. We keep grinding. Fourth quarter. Overtime. Keep pushing. Because what you believe in your hearts and speak in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality one day. And what you repeatedly do, it gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset. And what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset, it becomes an unconscious action and an unconscious activity. And I've always just wanted mine to be guideful, helpful, and nurturing to others. You see, pioneers, there's working a 9 to 5, and there's knowledge of self. There's having a degree, and then there's knowledge of self. And what you repeatedly do, it gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset. So over time, your subconscious mindset develops your habits, your thoughts, your habits, your hang-ups. And if you don't have any hurts, habits, hang-ups, and thoughts, well then you're probably in denial in your subconscious mindset. You see, over the course of the past few years, I have truly poured my heart and soul into developing true artwork that was as simple as possible to understand but at the same time took hard work, due diligence, and dedication to keep up with, while at the same time being jam-packed with a ton of untaught value within the simplicity of the artwork taught here. Again, it's not content, it's got the word con in it. We ain't trying to con nobody, because I believe that is where true value lies, is in the simplicity, pioneers. Rather than making things hard, because sometimes less is more. Instead of making things complicated, let's just go back to the basics. Let's remember the knowledge that we've gained along the way, because that's where the true value lies, is when you take your knowledge and utilize it and then elect it to wisdom. And having an appreciation of your knowledge and wisdom is when you're able to utilize yourself towards success instead of failure. And some people, they might not be here to do the work, to put in the effort and the due diligence, and to do the research when they hear things that they're just unaware of. Okay? It takes grabbing a pencil and a piece of paper, sit back, relax, kick back, grab your favorite drink, and light up your favorite strand and just soak in the knowledge. It takes being a part of this over the past few years to see the knowledge and wisdom that we poured into each and every one of these videos. That's why it's developed as a course and an academy. And I think our first semester is truly beginning to wrap up here, after the past 2 years. By taking this knowledge, we're able to absorb and elect ourselves to getting in tune with our higher self and our higher purpose here on this earth, by getting in touch with our one and only true self. That's my only goal here, is to teach you how to become truly successfully wealthy and rich by realizing you create happiness and being in tune with who you truly are, and not getting lost in Will Slapping Chris or Johnny and Amber Heard or Russia Ukraine nonsense, all the minutia monotony that we see portrayed from our mainstream media, things that we share over, the narratives that we keep you from getting lost in. So what are you doing? Are you putting in the work? Are you doing the work? Or are you just sitting there in that lack mindset, stuck on your phone, watching your TikToks, your WAP videos, and your sporting events? Mad because cryptocurrency's in a retracement, a large ABC corrective wave pattern. And on the weekly time frame, well, we're watching this pretty amazing hammer doji play out. And that's just bullish, you guys. Showing a push to the upside, a bullish engulfing on the weekly pattern, the bi-weekly as well, showing a bullish engulfing. And we have not only a weekly close tonight, but a bi-weekly as well, both showing momentum towards the upside, holding that $20,900 range that I prepared all of my pioneers for, going back in time. So it's truly amazing to see cryptocurrency just playing out like we've predicted it. And again, this channel isn't about making predictions, but we're bullish on taking advantage of the hard work and the craft and skill that we've been building and put over 10,000 hours in developing, that we give away for free here on the Daily Candle Close News and at the Pioneer Academy and University, for divergence and glitches that just really want to become glitches in this matrix. They want to become Neo, the one. You see, it's not that Neo was the one, it's that we all have a one within, a world where anything is possible. So something I want to talk about tonight, before we get lost in all the minutia and monotony and technical analysis and numerology, gematria, astrology, and the things that we talk about here, dates and etc. I want to talk about the Richard Wyckoff theory a little bit more, using certain indicators and certain periods of the market to determine when an accumulation and overbought period in the market is. So, watching right now the current cycle, to confirm we're in an accumulation period, we need to confirm that the market is oversold. Okay, and we need to have some rhyme and reason to be able to call the market oversold and to be able to say for a fact that, hey, we're in an accumulation phase to pack our bags, load them and stack it, back up the Brinks trucks, let's go. So we know the relative strength index, the RSI, that's what that stands for, is used to determine market bottoms and tops. It's a momentum indicator. Sorry for any noise that you may hear in the background. We got a new member and mascot to the Pioneer Academy. Welcome, Jazzy. If you hear my cat whining, it's a new kitten that I found in my engine of the car. So very important that I bring that up in case you hear that. So bringing up this macro view of a 10 plus view data of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin using a 5-day candle. We're looking at these accumulation periods. You not doing basic TA, just zooming out in a 30,000 foot overview, showing that there is a cyclical nature to the market using just the basic relative strength index and the area view, not even candle views of the cryptocurrency market. So just using this as an indicator of when the market becomes oversold, like after the 2013 market cycle top that led into a bear market, an accumulation, about a multi-year period before we then led to another bull market over time, the 2017 area, leading into this time period as well, showing the same thing, leading into another accumulation period, showing the RSI oversold as well. So we can see right here, a market bottom after a peak, an oversold RSI. Moving up to another peak, moving into distribution, capitulation, and accumulation. Another low. During an accumulation phase, we see that the RSI dips below oversold during these time periods. So after this double top crown distributional pattern over the last year and a half, 2 years, we've seen Bitcoin drop down into, where the RSI is, where we've shared before, historic lows on the weekly, bi-weekly time frame. So we can absolutely start to assume that we are in a new accumulation phase, and that's not a scary bad thing. That's bullish. That is great. That's a time to start collecting, time to start looking at oversold cryptocurrencies as an opportunity for an investment. I'm personally waiting to see how the end of the year goes and towards the end of the Shemitah to see if we get a historic extra pullback and even lower low in the markets. But I've been dollar cost averaging into certain cryptocurrencies like VeChain and Zilliqa and Algorand and Cardano, ADA, XRP, XLM, Bitcoin even, Ethereum, as we get these large dramatic pullbacks in the markets over the last several months. So currently, we're just going to have to continue to see how this accumulation period goes. Could this be a fast, balled up, like spring-like action of a Wyckoff theory, a bounce, seeing as how we've been in a sell-off for several months when we're looking at the bi-weekly, multiple months of sell-offs and capitulation, liquidation, events where we've seen Bitcoin just back test this trend line going back for a year and a half now that we've talked about, where we're bullish biased on seeing. Notice how I said that there. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water. But notice how I said that there. We're bullish biased on seeing a breakout of this falling wedge that typically, when we look at this and do our research, a falling wedge pattern tends to break out towards the upside 68% of the time. So that's something we're definitely hoping to see, because we want to see Bitcoin break out, bringing all cryptocurrencies up as well. But we know that the market is all about patience, transferring money from impatient hands to patient hands. So being able to look back on the daily time frame and looking back over time and seeing this go through pretty much a full cycle, we should be able to truly get a grasp on how this is going to play out moving forward. We know a market moves going from high to low, and you want to take advantage of buying the lows and selling the highs. Not financial advice, but when I was selling things like ADA and de-risking things like Solana last year and certain cryptocurrencies, I was getting, people tell me that I was crazy and, just really harping on me. But it's my money and my investment thesis, and I was taking advantage of euphoric times in certain cryptocurrency projects that I had been in, that I had reached long-term capital gains in, that I'd held for more than a year and a day. Investments that I'd really seen a true profit in of more than 3 to 5x to be able to take my initial investment out. And during this time frame, I've been able to reaccumulate into a lot of those projects that I still holded a percentage of throughout this time period. So I'm setting myself up to eat fruit in the future that my future self can thank me for one day. So after the March crash of 2020, when we really started to accumulate, we were able to build an investment thesis and mindset that we're now sharing with you today. And during this time period, you've been able to see me grow. Hopefully you've been able to see this channel grow, and you've been able to see your mindset and yourself grow, most importantly, because it's all about you, pioneers. Because we know right now we should be getting excited. We know what follows this accumulation is a distribution area. When we look at Richard Wyckoff and we continue to do our research, remember, he's the man that introduced us to the composite man. And he taught us that all the fluctuations in the market and in all the various stocks should be studied as if they were the result of one man's operations. The composite man, who in theory, the Wizard of Oz, sits behind the scenes and manipulates the stocks to your disadvantage if you do not understand the game. And I teach you pioneers the game so you can't be played. And if you do understand the game, well then he manipulates it for your great profit if you do understand. But what we're looking for, since this is an accumulation period, is another distributional area where we see the market is overbought. So if we slow down and look at this for what it really is, we see that when this market enters an oversold territory on the RSI, on the weekly time frame, historical lows, we're seeing a distributional cycle, showing by an accumulation period. So we know that there's a lot of cryptocurrencies right now that are just sold off substantially. Like when we look at cryptocurrencies like Solana, that we saw hit the 4.236 plus Fibonacci extension retracement levels last year when we were to pull that up. I don't really remember where we pulled that up from, but yeah, right there. Boom. We saw Solana just absolutely rip and roar, going up from C19 back in 2020, lows of roughly, what is that? Can you read that? 17,000 plus percent, if I'm not mistaken. Just absolutely in a distributional area, blowing past the 4.236, overheated, and now we're seeing it reach all the way back down to the 236, the 0.236 of the fib, all the way back down to the lows of roughly about $25. Not surprising. It was up here in the 200 plus, you guys. It's not surprising that we see cryptocurrencies pulled back 80, 90, 95% from its all-time high, roughly. 90% right there for things like Solana. Algorand, we see from its recent highs pulled back 89%. not surprising. Roughly 90%. Could this go even lower? Another 5%, 95% down to, roughly that 22 cent area, possibly, but Polkadot, to see it pull back, an absolute amazing 87, almost 90%, you guys. And people thought cryptocurrency was going to the moon. They weren't building their own thesis and mindset. They were following and consuming YouTubers, nonsense on Facebook or Twitter, etc., instead of building a craft around fundamental thesis like technical analysis, numerology, astrology, gematria, ancient teachings from an ancient prehistoric world, pi, numerology, things that we teach here, or I meant to say pi and the periodic table of elements, but symbology and the things that we teach here have really been able to open up our game and take it to a new level and the next level. Things that I know not many other content providers are out here sharing. They're out here sharing content again versus artwork that we share here. So it's all about who you want to be. Do you want to set in this lack mindset in the left logic hemisphere of the brain, or do you want to become a divergent and glitch in this matrix and change your physical reality? But anyways, let's get back to the bi-weekly close and talk about that real quick. We've already talked about, we want to, we've got roughly 45 minutes to see this close as a potential, let's get back to Bitcoin first of all. There we go. We definitely want to see this continue to see this candle right here is closing higher and larger than the previous weekly candle or bi-weekly candle, since we're on the 2-week time frame, and we have a 2-week candle close tonight, which means starting tomorrow we'll get our next 2-week candle forming. So we want to pay attention to how this is a amazing bullish engulfing, which means this candle is bigger and larger than this candle. So that's a good sign. It would be bad if, obviously this candle was right here, we were sitting next to a bearish engulfing. Obviously we're still going to have to see how the next 2 weeks and 14 days plays out, but this is a good sign. The weekly close is obviously coming in very similar to a hammer pattern and doji. Something we can talk about real quick are dojis and candle patterns. We know dojis are important to pay attention. A lot of time they call market reversals or price action. They all have different names, but what we'd like to pay attention to are the long wick theories. Like down here, this long leg doji with a push up, very similar to a hanging man or a hammer pattern, showing us bullish implied upward price action. So we like to pay attention to long wick theories, or vice versa. If this was a longer wick theory, obviously we're looking for a push to the downside. Price action getting pushed right here in this doji to the downside. So very important. But these dojis, when we see multiple dojis like this, are quite often showing indecision between the bulls and the bears. So when we see multiple dojis in a row, the next candle is usually going to call the move and price action for the cryptocurrency market. So very important, or stock market, whatever you're looking at. But anyway, going back to the bi-weekly and weekly engulfings that we're seeing, this very long leg theory. So we're wanting to see this slightly engulfing this former week right here. So this is kind of showing me slightly looking like a bottom when we pay attention to certain indicators. The 3-day, we have a 3-day close today, so we're pretty low, and we're having a little bit of relief, but at the end of the day, we gotta get past 22K, and until we get past 22K, above these candle closes on these 3 days, and the 2-day, well then, we're getting this relief, but until we see Bitcoin get above 22K, I really don't care what we're doing on the 2-day, 3-day, 5-day time frame. We definitely want to see it on the 5-day time frame. This is potentially a possible, obviously setting a possible, a W pattern, possible W pattern breakout. So that's going to be bullish if we can get up there to 22 and we have no trading right here. So we'd break up right there to that 23, 24 pretty quick, 25K pretty quick if we can close above multiple 2-day, 3-day candles above this 22K area. That's very bullish. So let's look at that on the daily time frame. So this will be a textbook W. We see the low right here, higher low than the low right here, slightly higher, but our neckline is perfectly sitting right here at about 21,500. All my pioneers know how important that area is. I've been sharing it in the Pioneer group chat constantly with some measured moves, etc., and potential moves for Bitcoin that we've been going over on the 2-hour time frame that we'll discuss more towards the end of this video. So if we were to see this neckline break out, I mean, we can be pretty, we can see this overextend possibly into around 26 to 28K. We could be pretty generous right here. I mean, we're setting higher lows over the last several days. And that's pretty much all the analysis that we need to pay attention to, is continuing to set higher lows on the daily time frame, seeing the bulls really fight to get back above 21.5, 22K, where we could see a potential push up to this 26, 27, 28K, our previous trading range. I mean, that's all we need to pay attention to right now on the daily, 2-day, weekly time frames. Obviously, we know when we look at the weekly, before we were showing obviously that we're in this fallen wedge pattern that we have got to see eventually just break out. Obviously, it's going to break out either way, and we know we can take advantage both ways, but a fallen wedge 68% of the time breaks out towards the upside. So on the daily time frame, seeing this potential W pattern textbook play out over the next few days could be all the energy we need to get us back up here to this trend line that we've talked about recently. We know this takes, a lot of emphasis right here on this firmament dome. This takes us right back up to that area where we can get a potential rejection from this trend line or this dome area of about 28, 29K roughly. I mean, 30K is, I don't think we're going to see any more than 29K. And when we get to the decode of this video, you're really going to understand why. That 29 ties us back into the Gnostic demiurge, Yaldabaoth, the son of chaos. So very important. And we know today is 7/17, July 17th. It's a day that leaves 2 months and 9 days to the end of Rosh Hashanah and the Shemitah. So very important, a 71-day time period, and today's the 17th, as above, so below. So this 29 area right now for cryptocurrency, if we were to see Bitcoin get this textbook W pattern breakout with the RSI being on a weekly time frame, historically oversold to levels we've never witnessed before. The Fear and Greed Index has just been going bonkers for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I really see this being a pretty grandiose and pretty good opportunity for us to de-risk Bitcoin or our favorite altcoins if we were to get this in the near distant future, because I do think that it would be short-lived, and we could see this probably push all the way up into August and even September. So just very important to continue to watch this. But go back and watch some of my work that we've shared lately. We can see there's some sort of upward positive momentum that we've talked about. So, boom. Going back to the daily time frame real quick. Let's look at Ethereum on the daily time frame. Something we haven't spoke about recently, but it's been, really just doing its own thing. And we're going to go to the chart where we have our data. We obviously had broke out into this rising wedge that had a breakout into our obvious resistance line, horizontal resistance line that had been playing in the cards right there at around roughly $1,274, $75. And this had been coming in since our, our sell-off in the markets, where we saw Ethereum fall all the way so far to a low of roughly 880, that 88. We know how important and exoteric that number is. All right, Jazzy, come on now. Sorry, you guys. But anyways, we saw this rising wedge breakout. Boom. Get a false breakout above our resistance before selling off, holding support, and then just ramping up to the upside. We're just trading sideways in this, what some would call a bear flag, or a bear pennant, whatever. Potentially, this is pretty bullish, you guys. We can continue to see, obviously, Ethereum, it was as well on the weekly time frame, historically oversold. So, this momentum is just proof in the pudding as to what we could potentially see playing out in the near distant future. So, looking at this on the 2-hour time frame again, we could potentially watch this bull pennant break up even higher. I see us potentially getting back up to this 1700, roughly that 173. We know Vitalik Buterin equals 173, the co-founder and creator of Ethereum. So to see us pump up there, it wouldn't be surprising. Right now, who knows? Maybe we break back down and get a clear back test of support held to this previous resistance, since we haven't done it already. That would be healthy to see us continue to push up after that. That would be, if we get support, an opportunity where I would want to maybe long Ethereum in the markets if we were to get a back test and a support held of this previous trading range that we've seen. But for the most part, when we break out of resistance, we want to see this healthy back test, okay, and then a new high. So the moment we break this wick high, we could talk about a continuation even further. But until we get this back test and hold support, there's really nothing else to talk about with Ethereum. We're just obviously trading, consolidating sideways until we get a breakdown or a breakout. So point blank period. We can even come all the way back down to probably the bottom side of this trend line again, that we've obviously been respecting, even though we fell low around the full moon. Not surprising. But then to see it bought back right after the full moon, heading into the new moon coming in on the 28th, not surprising. So my target destination for this is hopefully that 173 to de-risk some of the Ethereum that we still hold, that we've been accumulating throughout this dip, so that we can potentially see Ethereum just hopefully over the end of the year in the Shemitah. We've historically seen post Shemitah a washout, and if we were to see that coming in after September, October, November, well then hopefully we see it wash all the way back down to this $400, $350, $500 range. When we see regulations come in the cryptocurrency market, we see a lot of these ERC20 tokens and securities just get eradicated. There's roughly 20,200 cryptocurrencies now in the 2022 year. 2020 there was less than 7,000. So we know this is just like the dot-com bubble, and we're gonna see so many cryptocurrencies just disappear. Magical pixie dust money gone. So let's get into XRP. Now I have about 3 clients from around the world that are private, members of mine that I share technical analysis with around XRP on a, broad basis. And I also have a roommate that we talk about a lot of this sometimes as well. But recently I've been following the price action of XRP, and it's been playing out almost perfectly to the things that I've talked about with my 3 private clients and my roommate, basically. So when we know, I've talked about, we can pretty much long XRP when it gets above this very psychological 322, tying us back into our favorite skull and bones pals at Yale University. We can pretty much position XRP, if we're holding support above this, to long the market. And then potentially when we see it after an impulsive wave, let's get ready for a corrective pattern as well. Okay, and that's exactly what we saw. The last time I talked about XRP, we were right here where this blue arrow is, and then I was sharing how we saw this very V bottom sharp recovery with a sharp pullback as well. But ultimately we were closing almost every daily or 2-hour candle above this 322 range. So very important. I was seeing a lot of support held right here. So I was playing that as a potential Elliott wave pattern theory that played out. Elliott 5 wave. So a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very interesting. Followed by, after an impulsive wave, we saw a corrective wave of an A, B, C that led right back down to, believe it or not, being sold down below the 322, but ultimately closed back above 322. So we know that's bullish, but we ultimately saw this kind of curve and arc into what was like an M pattern. If you were to watch the candle, a lot of pressure, like I was talking about, dojis right here, indecision between the bulls and the bears. So the next candle made the decision, bought right back up, fake out, but ultimately sold right back down. So we kept showing after this ABC, kind of like Richard Wyckoff, after a buying climax, a selling climax, we hit our low, we get an automatic rally, usually come back to double bottom, and then potentially sometimes even set a spring, which is what we watched play out. So an accumulation period right here before watching a full moon liquidation, capitulation, manipulated event right here on the full moon. We know bearish energy comes into the markets on the full moon. So then right back into an impulsive pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now what are we likely to possibly see? Who knows? Right now we want to see support held of this 34-cent range. That's holding support of our B wave. That's holding support of this large wick where we got pushed down. We failed to get above that, but now we're above it. So let's hold support of this area. Very bullish. To see if we can continue to ultimately get back up to this 36 cents. Ultimately, hopefully, pushing back up to this 41 cent. For XRP, that's important because we know that, well, Ripple gives us that 40. And that 41 we get in XRP. So that's why I'm paying attention to this. Oh. So very important. 40 in full reduction for Ripple. XRP giving us that 14, the mirror of 41. So that's why I'm paying attention to this 40 and 41 area for XRP. Obviously, that's where we last sold off from. A very, very important area. We see the price action in these cryptos. By using numerology and gematria, we're really able to step up our game. So anyways, going back, another impulsive wave. We fell below this 322, short the market, not financial advice. When we hit a bottom, a low, pay attention to your MACD, getting ready to flip right here. Your RSIs touching the bottom, oversold, underbought. We tend to see traders take advantage of these ranges. They do, not financial advice. But this impulsive wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, inside this 5 wave, we can argue that that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We know 4 is usually the longest drawn out wave leading into a 5 wave. So, boom, that's how I played it, at least, leading into a digression and regression trend. And we failed, to break out above the top side of this regression trend, holding support of the median all the way down until a breakout and a breakdown. Okay, some would call this a falling wedge pattern, and that's something we've talked about with Bitcoin. It is. I didn't have it drawn up as that at the time, but very similar. You could draw this as a falling wedge. Let's see how that looks. Boom, falling wedge, just failing to break out above this top side of the resistance and treat it as support. Ultimately, before hitting the low, seeing this really euphoric price action that was sold off ultimately that we talked about. So just continue to pay attention to these levels and use the numerology and gematria around cryptocurrencies. We were hoping around if we were to continue to see a sell-off around the full moon, that would have been pretty manipulated and liquidated. We were hoping to possibly see that 27 cent or that 22 cent, that 223 cent XRP hit. We might not see those again, if we were to ever see them, until post Shemitah for XRP. So we can just continue to see this rip and roar, possibly all the way as high as this 51 cent again for XRP. Right now, that's really where I'm at, or that 47 cent, which is the 15th prime number. XRP equals 15 as well in numerology and gematria, right here in Chaldean, the purest cipher. So 15 is the mirror of 51. So that 51 cents or that 47 cents, the 15th prime number. We know Satoshi Nakamoto is 47 years old this year. He turns 48 next April. So very important, undeniable. Just some things that we've been talking about, recently. So that's looking at XRP. That's looking at, Ethereum and Bitcoin a little bit. I'll talk a little bit more about XRP on the daily time frame. We want to see it. Oh Lord, let's hide these drawings. Wow. That's not quite the W pattern breakout I want to see, you guys. This low, we know crypto's very volatile, and we know XRP's super suppressed and been held down for 5+ years from its recent all-time high. So we know this coin's just gonna pop when it does. But right now we can still play this as a W pattern breakout. I would just be very careful. Oh man, I can't do that. But let's just hide the drawings. But anyways, we like to see this first V come down lower, setting a lower low, and then setting a higher low in structure. But I mean, we've got the neckline right here, and if we can just confirm this breakout, if we can just confirm this breakout over the next several hours, 12 to 24, as the stock market opens, as CME opens up tonight, if we can just get some sort of in XRP, we can really see this thing rip and roar to the upside, and it would be it would shoot this RSI that's currently setting at roughly 52 right now. It would shoot it on up to this 80, 86, possibly 90 area. We know this thing can get absolutely euphoric. And it's always a syringe needle top that comes right back down to these oversold and underbought areas where we've recently been. And again, weekly time frames, historical levels never reached before. So what do you think's coming, Pioneers? A pretty obvious bounce in the cryptocurrency market. Who knows? We'll continue to see how this plays out. Everybody keeps saying cryptocurrency is going to go lower. And we've talked about that. I just don't think it's going to be now. Right now, I want to prepare for a potential bounce and automatic rally. We've been seeing a lot of bottoming really come into play. One thing to note, again, about this MACD is that, we're really starting to see this signal line for XRP on the daily time frame, and this MACD and signal line start to get back here to this 0. And when we get back above it, it can get really euphoric pretty quickly. And again, we're short-lived. I mean, some of these areas, what's that, 19 days? That's nothing. Let's look at where we were at in the price charts during this time period. So, a 19-day time period, we were seeing our February pump that ultimately led to where we are now. So when we look back at this over time and we zoom out and look at XRP, it's really starting to look like a really big Wyckoff accumulation pattern. So we had this really big buying climax, and you can do the Elliott wave patterns through here, etc., whatever you want to do. But we had this really euphoric buying climax with a selling climax, followed by an automatic rally with a return to lows. So basically a double bottom with a bounce, obviously a dead cat bounce basically, and a push down into lows, even lower lows, spring. So we can confirm that this is broken support, but we can't really call it a spring for XRP until we, break back above local highs. So back up above 51 cents to I would say 68 to 66, 62 cents, 65. That would be, a break up above our previous support that we had lost. So that would show me a V bottom over time. It's not easy on cryptocurrency like XRP, macro wise. It's not performing, and it's been super suppressed and held down. The SEC lawsuit, etc., whatever. We know it's just going to rocket up for being held under pressure. It's just about when it happens. So, if we were to see that over the near distant future, that's going to be bullish. Biweekly for XRP, bullish, engulfing. Boom. So if we were to get above 38 cents, I think we could be at 51 cents in no time. And if we got rejected there to 60 cents, then that would be where we would anticipate a potential another leg down over time. So very important, the possible 20 cent, 22 cent region possibly in the future for XRP. So, definitely going to leave that there. So we've done a lot of cryptocurrency, market psychology and sentiment, mindset. We've talked about some cryptocurrencies that we haven't talked about before, like XRP recently, Ethereum. We haven't talked about it recently. We've talked about more daily time frames like the 2-day, 3-day, bi-weekly, all the closes coming in for cryptocurrency. It's still 20 minutes till the daily close for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So one thing I want to note is I've been breaking down this 2-hour time frame for all my pioneers, and it's really amazing to just be able to be humbled at everything that we've spoken about. And again, today, selling off in the markets all day, we were holding support right here, this 20,900, a very important range that I was telling all of my pioneers about. Again, today was 2 months and 9 days from the end of Rosh Hashanah and the Shemitah. Yesterday was a day that added up to 29. So very important. 29 is the 10th prime number, and every time I see this 29 and think about the 10th prime number, it always brings me back to, simply the 10 that we get in God. But we know the Marilyn Manson song. I heard it when I was growing up, and it never left my mind, because it said, you say God and I say 10. He's saying 10, and when you read the lyrics out loud, it's saying, you say God, I say 10, the number 10. But it's very crazy. 5 plus 5 is 10, and we know, Satan gives you that same 10 and 55, so does God. So I always tell you, you can be either or. Down here, you were built in the image of the Elohim. Genesis 1:26-27 tells us this. So every time I see that 10, it makes me think of the binary code, and it also makes me think of mankind. Man giving us that same 10. So very important. We'll be talking about this 17 tonight as well, so go ahead and pay attention to that. Not surprising, man, giving us that 17. So every time I see that 10, there's that 17 in God, we get it as well. I think of these things. But this 20,900, the bottom of our range right here, basically, is a crucial support that I told my pioneers we needed to hold. Right now, we're still coming to back test, and it's Sunday. It's retail selling, not institutions. Yes, CME is open right now, and they're probably getting this market back to where they want it. So we'll continue to see how this weekly candle closes, but this is a 2-hour candle right now. So see this coming to possibly retest this, descending wedge, this was a bearish pennant. So we were coming to retest this bearish pennant. So we want to see us hold support of that. One thing we were talking about today is how we could see us possibly retest the median of our Bollinger Band on the 2-hour time frame. We did. We sold below it. Now where are we pushing down to? The bottom of this Bollinger Band, and it's coming up to merge with the top side of this bearish pennant. So very important. If we were to see this hold support and then work its way back up to the median or the top side of the Bollinger Band, back up here to 21,500, that would be bullish. So we're going to pay attention to that as well. One exponential moving average that we're holding perfect support of, imagine that. The 223, which is reversed from the 322. As above, so below. So within, so without. Alchemy, you guys. So, skull and bones, the exponential moving average of the 223. I prepared all my pioneers this morning for a potential break of this rising wedge pattern. Why? Because a falling wedge pattern has 68% chance to break out to the upside. So that means a rising wedge pattern has 68% chance to break out to the downside. So even if this is all we get and hold support of the median of the Bollinger Band and the 223 exponential moving average, well, if that's all we get, this little percentage drop, what is that? Wow, 2%, cool. Not surprising. We'll just have to see how this is balled up over the next several hours and how tomorrow opens in the stock market, etc. But one thing we know is we were looking to see a bullish posture set. And right now, the 89 and the 111 simple moving average or exponential moving averages, they're still yet to get above this bearish pennant top. Here, let's delete this. You see, they're failing to get right here above. The 200's basically breaking above, you guys. So and so is the 89. So this 111, when it gets above this, and the both of these, the purple and the white, get above the pink, we're going to be in full bullish posture. Well, we would have been. But look at this. We were talking about this earlier. We'll have to continue to see if we get a bounce on this 8, the gray, and this 13, the black, and this 21. Right now, the 34, cool. We knew we could retest that in the 55. We did. We're getting balled up and holding support of the 55. That is bullish, but we want to see that momentum remain for the bulls. We don't want to see the bears punish the bulls right now, which, this looked pretty distributional. Indecision, pretty distributional right here. We'll have to see. Always hitting the top side of our, rising wedge, failing to break above our bear flag or parallel channel that we've been talking about going back in time. So the top side of our parallel channel and bear flag, the median, the heart line, we couldn't break above it all over the last 24 hours. So, that's not good to see. Could we be seeing a corrective wave down? So who knows? But no longer worried about paying attention to those in bullish posture. Right now we're kind of in bearish posture now. We know how fast they can turn though. They're lagging indicators. A quick push to the upside, up 5% in a day in a 2-hour candle. Well, we can see them moving moving averages change. So awesome. Just some things that I want to bring back up. This is just amazing to see. We definitely want to hold this 20,900 as support, you guys. That's gonna be key. One thing, it's not surprising to see cryptocurrency sell off to a low of 20,800 roughly. Right now, setting that low and hopefully closing the market at 20,800. One thing I know about today is when I look at July 17th, 2022, I get to 28, the mirror of the 82. And these are very powerful numbers. 28 is a perfect number. It's the sum of 56. And I teach my pioneers how important that 56 number is. But this 17th and this 28, it's all very important. We know that this 28, ultimately, it ties us back into the 20,800 that we're seeing in the price action right now. And again, 20,800, this 28 ties us back into the zodiac sign that we are getting ready to transition into, which is Leo, the lion, giving us that 82, the mirror of 28. It also gives us that 107. 107 is drop the 0-17. I'm giving you this video on the 17th. Okay, so not surprising. But anyways, this 28 ties us back into, seeing Bitcoin hopefully close at 20,800. It's tying us back into Ra. Ra gives us 17. Today's the 17th. It is Sunday. Ra is the ancient sun god. Sun is also called Sol. It is also called Helios. Okay, that's what the sun is also called. Giving you that same 17. It's ultimately tying us back into Zeus, you guys. Giving us that same 71 and 17. Today's the 17th, and it's a 71-day time period to the end of the Shemitah and Rosh Hashanah. So it's all right here in this code. Seeing Bitcoin sell down here to 20,800 right here. So not surprising. Literally, it's all pre-programmed to an algorithmic code. And again, Ra is the ancient sun god, you guys. Again, giving us that 82 and 28. We saw Bitcoin right now sitting at 20,800 on Sunday. Ra is the ancient sun god. This 28 ties us back into Lucifer, which some people don't understand is literally the sun. Okay, the morning star, the sun devil. I mean, Arizona State's mascot literally tells you the truth, giving us that same 28. Okay, not surprising. But anyways, we were talking about in this video, could we see Ethereum pump back up to 17K, giving us that same 17 that we were getting in Ra? It all ultimately ties us back to the time keeper, you guys, giving us that same 107, 17, undeniable, you guys. And we're coming up on Leo, the lion, whose ruler in astrology and zodiac is the sun. So all this 71 and 17 is kind of making me wonder if, maybe we do get some liquidated, manipulated capitulation event that just sells us all the way back down to 17K. Maybe setting an even lower low. I don't know. We know we hit 17.5, but who knows? We know recently we tied this 17 and 71 back into Stranger Things, giving us that same 71. So, not surprising. So we tied this back into the sudden destruction we saw after we, saw CERN reactivated. CERN is 17 miles in diameter. So, not surprising. But ultimately, it's all coming back to the 71 is all coming back to order out of chaos. Not surprising, that same 71. So I'm pretty much going to leave this video here. Definitely hope it was full of information, jam-packed, and I hope that message in the beginning really reached somebody that might be going through some of the things that I've recently been going through myself. I sometimes lose my energy and my thought process and my dedication and momentum as well, you guys. But it's always about getting back up and striving to always be better tomorrow than the person you were today or yesterday, last week or last year. It's about getting in touch with who you truly are and becoming the greatest of all time within your own paradigm. And that's what I'm hopefully teaching you all here, is the manifestation expert and scholar you've always been meant to be. Hopefully that's what you're becoming. So pioneers rise, build your legacy and build your fortress. Take care and God bless. Sending you all much love and high vibrations.